Both sides struggling for form in recent weeks can either re-find it in the big one. Let's find out. Your commentators here at the iPro Stadium, Andy Hinchliffe, and first Bill Leslie.
Well, the figure whose memory graces this fixture would have turned 79 yesterday. Today we are lucky enough to witness the 84th league meeting between the clubs who managed to their finest hour, and they contest the Brian Clough Trophy named after him. Sellouts for this early kick-off at the iPro Stadium. Season in, season out, this is a game that needs nothing added to it. So the fact that for the first time in the best part of 20 years, these rivals are fighting it out for promotion from the same division means this is one of the most eagerly anticipated in many a year. Derby's Will Hughes was voted Football League Young Player of the Year at the annual awards last Sunday. He didn't make it that night as he picked up an injury last weekend against Reading. He's not risked this afternoon. So 3 changes for Derby from the side who drew against Reading last time out. There's a debut for George Thorne on loan from West Bromwich Albion, and Jeff Hendrick returns to the midfield after a substitute role at the Medeski. Simon Dawkins picked up a groin injury in the week, so Patrick Bamford, a former Forest trainee, takes his place. Forest injuries are threatening to derail their season. Andy Reid returned last week in the draw against Doncaster, but he's out for the next few weeks with a new hamstring injury. That's now 9 first-teamers that are unavailable for them today. Guy Moussi does tend to get a run out in these games anyway. He comes in for his first start in 5. The second change from Forest's last outing sees a return for Jamie Mackie, who does have 2 goals in his last 3 against the Rams. Will Hughes is fit enough to be amongst the Derby substitutes, and Derby-born 19-year-old Ben Osborne could be set for a Forest debut off the bench. Well, Andy, we've touched on the absentees. Could the outcome of this rest on who copes best without them?
Yeah, I certainly think it can. It's midfield headaches really for Steve McLaren. 2 of his usual midfield 3 are missing today, so George Thorne and Jeff Hendrick come in for Eustace and for Hughes. They're so effective, Derby, when Eustace and Hughes are in the side. Can these 2 fill the void? And in big Derby battles, you need to control that central midfield area. Can these 2 do it? There's a big miss for Forest as well with no Andy Reid. He's been their talisman this season, but Forest are crying out for creativity. Majewski can provide that. Forest do need to get him, though, in advanced positions, running at that Derby defence. If that happens, he could inspire a Forest victory here.
Well, it can be a feisty fixture, this one. The 5 red cards in the last 6 matches tells its own tale. Well, the focus on Michael Naylor, the referee who takes charge of this particular variety of East Midlands derby for the first time. Derby in 3rd, then 6 points ahead of Forest, who are in 6th, both with 9 games left to play. If the status quo is maintained, then this will be one of the playoff semi-finals in just around 7 weeks' time. And in terms of taking sides into playoffs, when he's been in charge for a full season, Billy Davis' record is exemplary. But at the moment, they're on the crest of a slump. 7 games without a win. Probably, Andy, the ideal fixture to get that out of their system, isn't it?
I certainly think so. Certainly players should be pumped up for this one. But it's not been easy for Billy this season, losing so many players. But the local derby, there's a lot of pressure on Forest. Can they respond? Do they have the character to beat Derby today?
Derby themselves without a win in 4, without a goal in that time as well. For many a month, they were the top scorers in this league. Record-breaking winning runs have been consigned to recent memory. Time for them to get back on track as well. Automatic promotion may have gone, but pride at stake aplenty here this afternoon. And when you add promotion to the mix, it makes a devastating cocktail. Both in highly recognisable home strips. Bamford clattered into by Fox early on. Time for a run from the back from Buxton. Ward. And Mackie goes to ground. Forest get the free kick.
I think from the way that Billy Davis has set Forest up here, probably in the opening 15-20 minutes, they might sit a little bit deep. They've got Simon Cox as the lone striker, plenty of bodies in midfield. They'll know that Derby will set up on the front foot. They'll just try and quieten the game down for the opening period.
Arsenal let it run through to Grant. Forest, the current holders of the Prime Clough Trophy, they edged out Derby in what turned out to be Nigel Clough's last game in charge of the Rams. Richard Keogh sent off 2 yellow cards, as is always the way, often the way in these fixtures. The pinpoint as to which way it goes by who keeps their heads the best. We heard Steve McLaren roll out the old platitude about playing the game, not the occasion. That is because it's true.
Absolutely, sometimes players get carried away with these big Derby occasions. As Steve was saying there, he won't compromise his ideals regardless of the game and the situation. They'll continue to play good football. That's what's got them up into third. They're chasing Burnley down. I don't think they can get automatically promoted, so it is about the playoffs, but their style of play will not change. They'll pass it.
It's appearance number 150 for Guy Moussi, who throws his strength about in the midfield. Touch from Martin. Keogh. That's the sort of attacking intent that Derby County have. In recent weeks, the only thing that has really been missing is the finishing touch. Their build-up play has been there. Their execution and their finishing has somehow gone AWOL.
Absolutely, but they certainly have the players out there in the starting 11 and on the bench as well to come on and change the course of the game. But you can see how deep Forest was sitting there. Richard Keogh picks it up as centre-half for Derby, and he passes it halfway inside the Forest half. So Forest have to be careful they don't sit too deep for too long.
Greening. Here's Lascelles. Not a lot of time on the ball out there. It's a fascinating added attraction, the fact that both these two in the dugout, Bailey Davis and Steve McLaren, used to manage the opposite clubs. Greening in the Nottingham Forest midfield, one of the few survivors of the players that Steve McLaren brought in when he was in charge of the City ground. He only took charge of one of these fixtures during his comparatively brief time there, ended up in a defeat. Frank Fielding, the Derby County goalkeeper, sent off after just 2 minutes, but still Forest failed to win. Lascelles in the East Midlands sunshine to Greening. This is the Chilean Hala. Fox, slip from Bamford. Patterson. Touched Andy on how Radoslav Majewski and his creativity could be important. Jamie Patterson, another one who comes into that role. He's having a fantastic season for Nottingham Forest.
I think it's important for Forest when they go forward that Simon Cox isn't isolated and that Patterson and Mackie go and join in with him.
And here is Patterson. Dispossessed by Bamford. Pressure put on the ball, but David and Thorne wasn't quite up to it there. Mackie lost control of the ball. Keogh taking a bit of a risk with Patterson bearing down, but Derby can come out now through the ever-present Forsyth. Lascelles comfortably away. Ward. Martin's touch. This is neat build-up from Derby County. It's Ward. It's a cutback. The finish lacking again. Another opportunity. Forest block it away. Appeals for handball as Bryson sneaks through. He smuggled it into the back of the net. 5 minutes on the clock, and Derby have the lead through Bryson.
And it's Craig Bryson's 13th goals of the season. He's having a stunning season. Chris Martin's got a fair few, but Bryson breaking from midfield time and again this season has been the key man, and they just simply keep the pressure on here, Derby. On the left-hand side, it's intricate. One opportunity for Bamford goes astray, but they keep the ball alive. This is brilliant play from Chris Martin. Little flick around the corner. And he just keep the chance alive, and this chance for Bamford he just skews it. It's a difficult one for him. And how quickly Derby are back on the ball again, and Craig Bryson just flies into the penalty area, keeps going, keeps believing something's going to break. And when it drops at his left foot, he's always going to bury it. And what a start for the home team.
6 hours and 10 minutes since Derby last had a goal to celebrate. And the fact it is against the big rivals makes it oh so much sweeter.
Well, the final touch does come off Danny Collins, but you can see they've got the numbers back there, Forest. There's no real organisation. It's players running onto you as a defender. It's just a nightmare, and that's what Bryson does so well.
Well, he said it before, didn't he? We'll just keep on doing the same things. The goals will come. Didn't have to wait too long this afternoon. Patterson. This is Danny Fox. Patterson. Mackie and Simon Cox, the two men in the box. Bit of width offered by Fox, but the pass was overhit.
And Forest need a response after being stung so early. Just simply their passing in the final third has to be better. It's a really poor ball around the corner.
Here's Keogh. Attacking scent in his nostrils. In the end, he rolled it out of play.
I think with the Craig Bryson goal, it shows that midfield three, that combination play between the Derby midfield central three with Thorne and Hendrick, the balance is absolutely right. Either Thorne or Hendrick can sit, and one of the other two can break forward, and Craig Bryson is always going to be the furthest forward for Derby. He's been so effective doing that this season.
When Bryson scores, Derby don't lose. That's been the way in the 20 previous times he's scored for the club. 12 of those previous times coming this season. The licence he's given, particularly by Steve McLaren to get forward, has really added that extra dimension to his game. Thorne. This is Wisdom, lone Liverpool fullback. Keogh looking to play in Ward, and doing so very neatly indeed. Ward trying to get him behind Gonzalo Hara, but his persistence has paid off. Hara going to ground, Musi clearing. Typical Jamie Mackie tenacity. It could open up an opportunity here for Forest, but he drags it across the face of goal.
He's certainly looking to get his shot in on target here, but it's all about perseverance down this right-hand side. He has no right to really pick up possession here, and just keeps going. There's nothing really in the box for him to pick out. In the end, it is a shot, but he, of course, gets it badly wrong, but better from Forest.
He's one of those who can play, whether it be in a wide midfield role, supporting the striker. He's versatile in that respect, but goals haven't been flowing for him recently, without one since November. Simon Cox without one in 8 games since he scored against the Oval. And one of the problems that Forest have had in the absence of the player who's responsible for about 40% of their goals in terms of assisting or scoring, and that's Andy Reid.
I think Billy Davies will look at that and not maybe use it as an excuse, so many first-team players missing, but you look at Leicester, Burnley, Derby, QPR, Wigan, they haven't had the kind of injury problems that Forest have had.
When you look at who Forest are missing, it is their first choice back four. It is perhaps their most creative midfield. David Vaughan probably won't play again this season. If Forest do end up in the playoffs, perhaps he could be back for some involvement in that. That's the latest. Andy Reid, a hamstring injury, 3 weeks is the latest medical update that the club have issued on that. And Henry Lansbury racing to be fit again. 3 creative and at this level hugely influential players. It's supposed to have a positive and galvanising effect having Billy Davies back on the touchline. He served 2 games of his touchline ban. The subsequent 3 are being appealed. That's why he can retake his place down there. Musi. There's Lascelles. He was here at the iPro Stadium with England's under-21s recently for their qualifier against Wales. Didn't actually come on, but he's breaking into that setup, taking on his under-21 colleague Will Hughes today. Yet, if he did miss the news at the top, Will Hughes only fit enough for a place on the bench.
You see that long forward ball there from Danny Collins. Simon Cox is the lone striker. He's not the biggest. He's up against Keogh and Buxton, 2 big solid centre-halves. The quality into him has to be much better. They've got to give him a chance of at least getting on the ball and bringing the midfielders into the game.
Collins header to the feet of Hendrick. With 9 games to go after this one, there's no point in risking such a key asset as Will Hughes, still only 18. But will be very important in the matches to come. And as far as Derby are concerned, 4 home, 5 away remaining for them after this one. Well, Bamford able to intercept, but not able to take advantage.
And this is the problem for Forest. They're being pressed now. Derby realise that Forest are going to sit slightly deep. But Bamford, Ward and Martin can press that Forest back 4, and this is a risky ball across the face of your own defence. And Bamford, if he controls that, and Chris Martin's in.
From the age of 8, he was at the Nottingham Forest Academy. Patrick Bamford ends up on the other side of the East Midlands divide, courtesy of a loan spell from Chelsea. Forsyth with the free kick. Martin. Fox testing with wisdom. Referee Michael Naylor's given it Forest's way. 2 on loan fullbacks from Premier League clubs up against each other. Jamie Mackie down, a little off the ball collision. Looks like it was with Jake Buxton. He's not happy, Jamie Mackie.
Well, clearly something has happened, clearly off the ball as well. Just turned to my left and saw Jamie Mackie on the turf, so the referee might have to consult his fellow officials to try and sort this one out.
It was well away from the action, so the referee will not have seen it. You're absolutely right with that. Look to the left of your picture, this is the collision.
You can clearly see that is it Jake Buxton that steps across the run of Jamie Mackie right at the top of the picture there. I don't think there's an awful lot in that. The referee clearly looking the other way, nothing he could see at all, but I don't think it was that serious. Jamie Mackie seemed to make a little bit too much of it.
Jake Buxton trying to make amends by shaking hands. Jamie Mackie's fired up, he was not having any of that.
It's a different story with Jake Buxton's elbows up or his arms in the face of Jamie Mackie. Does the natural thing most defenders do, and a striker's on the move, he just stands in his way and he just blocks him off.
Just stokes the fire of competitiveness within this fixture. Always lurk beneath, sometimes not too far beneath the surface. Lascelles. Martin doing enough to ensure it comes to Jamie Ward. Forsyth with an accompanying run. Craig Forsyth cutting inside, riding the challenge. This is good from Forsyth. High boot perhaps from Ward, but the referee will allow play to go on and Forrest can come out here. Mackie fouled rather crudely by Thorne, and that may well be the first yellow card.
Well, the game really is starting to liven up now, and this is where the referee has to take control. If the players aren't acting responsibly, it's up to the referee just to keep them all away, just keep a cool head and make a strong decision. There's Jamie Mackie down the right-hand side, and George Thorne clearly has no intention of playing the ball. He fouls Mackie. The referee absolutely right to book him.
The first of the match. Sure not the last, given the way the momentum is building.
That's why you've got to be careful. You pick up an early booking in a derby game, you're going to have to make challenges. You could easily get sent off if you get another one wrong.
First significant Forest set piece. The 19th minute. No one able to get any contact on it.
There's a bit of pushing and shoving in the penalty area, and the referee really has to have eyes in the back of his head. Players going to ground, and very hard to pick out whether there's fouls in here or whether anybody's doing anything wrong there. Andre Risdon, for me, just stands his ground. Is there a foul on Danny Collins? He's not. He actually collides Collins with his centre-half partner Lascelles.
Bamford, dispossessed by Fox. This is Greening. Now Patterson. They double up on him. He had a hold of Bamford's shirt there. Despite the fact he was making forward progress, it's been pulled back for the free kick.
There's so much been talked about the influence that Steve McLaren has had here at Derby in terms of when they're in possession of the ball, but they're just an example. Patrick Bamford working so hard for the team back in defence when they haven't got the ball. You get that balance right, it can take you an awfully long way.
Hendrick has found Bamford. Bamford trying to find a way past Lascelles. Mackie. And Lascelles. Cut out by Thorne. Buxton. Martin. Out by Collins. Here's Wisdom. Majewski. Cox had to check his run, which allowed Bryson to get a toe in. The score of the goal that separates the sides. Fox. And a bad ball in for Guy Moussi. Mackie waiting at the far post. This is Patterson. Musi. Patterson eluding Keogh and putting in the area just vacated by Jamie Mackey.
It's a decent ball, and it's what Jamie Patterson has been asked to do. Step in field and deliver these wicked crosses into the box, but it all stems from Forest just keeping the ball well, keeping possession well, forcing Derby back. Opportunity to cross, just not enough bodies really in the penalty area. Every time the ball goes into wide areas, Patterson's on it, or Mackey. They've got to flood that 6-yard box and take a risk. Forest are edging the possession, but as yet aren't really creating any decent opportunities. But Billy will be fairly happy with that. He won't be happy by the way this team conceded the opening goal, though.
Ward in combination with Martin. Ward looking for Bamford. Bamford didn't quite get the contact he needed. Keogh's given it away straight to Patterson. Now Majewski. Patterson. Cox needed to check his run, might have been offside. Patterson.
There's a great bit of work here from Majewski. Could have played it to Simon Cox, who would have been offside. He realised that, Majewski, and played it to Jamie Patterson. But again, look how hard Derby work. There's so many bodies back so quickly.
Halfway through the first half. First Nottingham Forest corner. Majewski looking to create the angle for Patterson. Away by Keogh. Martin. Bamford chests it back. This is Patterson. Good catch from Simon Cox. Allow Keogh to get it out to Martin. Hendrick, really well worked. Bryson is the most advanced. He's got Ward making a run to his left. Reinforcements have arrived now for Derby. Back out to Ward. Martin and Bamford, the two in the middle. Martin, out by Collins. Forsyth keeps it alive. Forest a little rattle. Musi rolling it straight out of play and tearing it to Hara.
Yeah, defensively, Forest do not look happy at all. Many sides in the Championship have suffered playing against Derby. Very frustrated players picking on each other in red shirts.
Mackey. Very isolated out there, Simon Cox. Majewski closest to him, but it's comfortable enough for Derby. Majewski. Hendrick doing pressing this time. Collins. Majewski. Do have some bodies in the box now. Musi making a far post run. Simon Cox. Majewski. Buxton, not away. In comes Majewski. The decision is given Derby's way for handball.
The Forest are just starting to settle now, getting Majewski on the ball, and that's be a big part of their game plan, because he can certainly affect the game going forward for Forest. The referee's looking through bodies there, not an easy one to pick out, but he clearly thought there was a handball in that.
Musi. Bryson all over him and taking it away from him, finding Ward. Excellent run from midfield. And it is fired over by Forsyth.
We see many Derby players, even defenders, fullbacks going and joining in, and that's because Derby works so hard to pitch the ball back high up the field. They do that against Musi. and then they keep it really well. That encourages defenders to break forward and take a chance.
By the way, there's no touchline ban for Steve McClaren. If you're not familiar with the way he operates, he's always up in the director's box for the majority of the first half. Usually reappears on the touchline just before half-time. It's not going well, sometimes slightly earlier. He prefers the loftier view rather than the comparatively restricted one that you get at the coalface.
Well, he's vastly experienced, Steve McClaren, as well. Over 500 games as a manager now, and every time you see him, he never looks panicked, never looks too flustered. Always looks at a game and tries to balance it out and see what he can maybe change, and isn't afraid to make a change if it's not working. But so far, you'd have to say physically Derby are doing the business, and of course they've got the key opening goal.
He's got a trusted lieutenant down there as well in Paul Simpson, former Derby player, former teammate of yours as well, Andy.
So I've had a couple of chats with Paul Simpson about why things have turned around for Derby, and he says we just keep it simple. We ask the players to do simple things they're good at, and we give them confidence and encourage them, and that's what it is all about, just keeping it as simple as possible, just encourages players to play well, and that's what's happened at Derby.
Play well they have for the majority of this match so far, leading through Craig Bryson's early goal. Headed on into the path of Ward. Alfred's the man in the middle. And Hendrick couldn't keep it in. This is what's in store for you on Super Sunday this week. We start off at White Hart Lane, Tottenham against Southampton, 12:30, Sky Sports 1. And then to Villa Park for the visit of Stoke. That's from 3:30, also Sky Sports 1. Mara. Collins. Fox. Majewski. Patterson. Fox. He's got a very tasty left foot when he gets a chance to use it. Martin P last. There's Lascelles. Derby born. By Wisdom.
Concede an early goal, it could be very easy for a side to go under and feel sorry for themselves. Forest haven't done that. So the last 5 minutes or so, they're really dominating the ball, forcing Derby back. It's now about creating those good opportunities, really working Lee Grant.
46 days and 46 nights since Nottingham Forest last won a match. 7 played in that time, February the 11th, 3-0 against Huddersfield. Seems a long, long time ago. Automatic promotion ambitions have turned to playoff anxieties, and with the chasing pack breathing down their neck, these are concerning times. Simon Cox is harder. Fox. Moussi putting the pressure on Keogh. Patterson. Fox. Patterson. And it's back to Danny Fox. Trafford holding off his man well, allowing Derby to look for Martin. This is a decent spell for Forest. Greening just over touching it, sliding in, but keeping possession. And Radoslav Majewski.
Oh, it could have been difficult, just bounced in front of Lee Grant, but he sees it all the way. And Forest really are forcing Derby back here. They're keeping possession so well, and they're keeping involved in the game, and chances and spaces just starting to open up. You see what he's trying to do there. Majewski bend it into that bottom corner, but Lee Grant has read it all the way.
Happy memories of scoring against the men in white and black. Radoslav Majewski, his first league goal for Forest did come in this fixture. Just took him 58 seconds. On this day can be red hot, the man from Poland. I hope that this is his day and he grows into it. Here's Martin mid-time. Beautifully worked! What a fantastic goal that is from Derby! Bryson has another, Derby have another, and the Rams are pulling away.
Oh, it's so simple, but so effective. And Forest, just as they were coming back into the game, are just sliced open. And you have to give Chris Martin a huge amount of credit here. He scored bags of goals this season. But for a centre-forward to appreciate a midfielder running on and just releasing that ball, being unselfish, absolutely brilliant. When that ball goes into the feet of the centre-forward, see Martin, little movement off the ball, then he gets himself into the danger zone. But this little pass here is fantastic. It really is. It's weighted perfectly, and Bryson doesn't have to break stride and buries it in the corner. And well, from Forest dominating the last 5 or 10 minutes, suddenly Derby spring to life. And well, a 2-goal advantage. That's a massive one in this derby.
Like the old London buses, you wait over 6 hours for a goal and 2 come along in the space of 30 minutes.
But it is all about trust, and Craig Bryson knows when that ball goes into Chris Martin, it's going to stick, and he's going to be aware of what's going on around him, so he can take a chance as a midfielder, and that's why he scores.
Double treble for Billy Davis and for Nottingham Forest. They came here looking for a double after their win earlier on this season. And the 10th time they've done it in this fixture over the years. It's a long way off just now, thanks to the Bryson brace.
The one thing Forest have to do here is keep their heads. Majewski leads with his arm there. They're bound to be frustrated. 1-0 down, they were still in the game. Now they've gone 2 down. The elbows start flying, they get a man sent off. It really will be game over.
He's caught late there. Keogh, as he played the ball away, it's going to be a yellow card for Simon Cox. And as if to illustrate the point you were just making, Andy, frustration is starting to get the better of the men in red.
You can see this coming an absolute mile away. Simon Cox knows he's not going to be able to block this forward ball, and just goes through Richard Keogh, and quite rightly he's booked for it. They've really got to keep their heads here, Forest.
Concern for Forest is that the goals have been a problem for them in recent weeks, just as much so as they have for Derby in the last few games. They've failed to score in 2 of the last 3. A little bit of misunderstanding between Lee Grant, whether he would come or Buxton would clear. Made sure that the Burley centre-half
I think the major worry for Forest is that Derby haven't necessarily played brilliantly to get into a 2-goal lead. I've certainly seen them play better than this.
Deflection on the cross from Majewski. Simon Cox. Mackie now. Here's Majewski. Blocked away by Wisdom. 10 minutes of this first half remaining for Forest to fire themselves back into this one. Warrington almost obscured on his way to trying to get there, but Thorne is plenty of physical presence about him. That's why Derby can look at the other end. Bamford's got the ball away. It's been done really well. Chance for a third here. There we go. What a beautiful break that was from Derby County. And Jeff Hendrick gets in on the act.
Well, Forest are being mauled by the Derby midfield as Jeff Hendrick this time, but how about the unselfish play of Patrick Bamford here? We just talked about it with Chris Martin, setting up Craig Bryson. Patrick Bamford, I thought he's running down a cul-de-sac here, but he has the vision to release a quite brilliant pass for Jeff Hendrick. And it is all about desire. They're defending a corner here, Derby. One long forward ball, a major mistake from Yara, and then suddenly this is where Bamford comes to life. What a pass that is, what a run from Jeff Hendrick. Real desire to get on the end of the pass. And what a cool finish, and that could very well be game over.
Derby County right back in business. He said it before, didn't he, Steve McLaren? Once we get one, they'll start flowing again, and they're flowing here against Forest.
You see the amount of ground that Jeff Hendrick has to cover to get on the end of that pass from Patrick Bamford. That's about desire, determination. He's been out of the side for a long time. He's not sulked. He's been given an opportunity in a massive Derby game, and he's come up trumps.
That's what Jeff Hendrick's first goal for a whole calendar year means to the Derby County supporters packed in here today. It's the one they want to win, and it's the one they are winning at a canter. Small cloud appearing on the horizon in terms of a possible serious injury to Jamie Ward. Find out whether it's precautionary or anything more serious than that, but Jamie Ward makes his way off, so Derby will make the change.
Yeah, Jamie Ward is one of those explosive players. You've seen it in the opening 38 minutes of this game, and you can pick up injuries when you're that direct and you're so quick over the ground.
Johnny Russell is his like-for-like replacement. Often a swap that they do make, Jamie Ward coming off and Johnny Russell coming on, but it's not one they like to make in these circumstances. Patterson. Greening. Bryson leading away for Derby again. Does already have one hat-trick this season. That's in by Russell. And it's not away though. Bamford trying to manoeuvre some space. And firing over, getting the corner.
This is the major problem for Forest, is that Derby are just going to keep going, looking for more and more goals. They won't sit back and settle for 3-0 before half-time. And players like Patrick Bamford Always looking to try and sneak that fourth.
Well defended at the near post by Simon Cox. LaSalle's away. Put back in by Thorne. Russell. Thorne was the man to break it up. Bonson, Martin. Chris Martin. Shot on target from Chris Martin. That's the first time in the match they've had an effort on target. They haven't scored from Derby.
That's how effective they've been, and Steve McLaren always knew this. He's been saying recently, okay, they've not scored in 4 games, but they're creating opportunities. Eventually, the floodgates will open, and certainly opened in this first half.
Collins. Drawn on. Martin. Bamford. Wisdom. A little too hefty for Johnny Russell to do anything with.
And the final ball was wasteful, but the player moved football. It's so simple in Derby, but they're just so effective. Players willing to make runs off players who are in possession. Fantastic to watch.
In the Derby plan and the Derby dream as to how this first half would go, and the way the land lies just now, it's more of the latter at play here at the iPro Stadium.
I still have to say that Derby, for me, are probably only at 70% capacity. I've seen them control games much more than this, and that is such a worrying sign for Forest. The second half, if they don't sort themselves out, could be embarrassing.
Russell's cut back. Hendrick couldn't get a shot away. Got it back though. Doing his best, but has brought down. It's usually the time that the manager descends.
It's a luxury that not many managers have at half-time. Really, he can just say to his players, just try and repeat in the second half what you've done in the first.
Mackie. Harder. Greening. Patterson. Mackie.
All the angles against Jamie Mackie there. In that type of position, you possibly do shoot, trying to score. There's always a chance it might just cannon in off somebody. Once again, there's no real numbers in the penalty area from Forest. Guy Moussy's right on the edge of the 6-yard box, and that's about it.
Bamford. Majewski got a toe in. We're into 3 added minutes. So 3 the further along your graphic that tells the sorry tale for Nottingham Forest so far this afternoon. Could get worse. Bamford, Martin, men in the middle. Bryson is one, but the delivery lacking. Has a look at the pitch there. Chris Martin may well have slipped as he played the ball in.
I think if you ever strike a ball over the crossbar like that, always look down at the pitch. And Chris Martin in this first half has been absolutely brilliant. He's not scored. I'll tell you what, he's covered so much ground down the middle and in wide areas. Just takes a touch. Does he get a bobble? No, not really.
Groundsman. Musi. That's the earlier challenge on Buxton. That's the reason Derby have got the free kick.
I'm sure Billy Davies will rip into his players at half-time, but he's got to be constructive as well. He can be very disappointed by the goals that Forest have conceded, but he's got to try and work out a way back into the game.
Billy Davies has already gone to switch on whatever his version of the hairdryer is. Bamford. Well, he's still going. They haven't dealt with this at all, Nottingham Forest. It was an air shot really from Musi as he went to clear that one away. Swipe at the ball. In the end, didn't prove too costly. But it's been a pretty desperate half of defending from Nottingham Forest.
These defenders at times, you've got to be proactive. You can't stand and watch. There's two players around Patrick Bamford, yet he still gets to the byline and gets a cross in. It's not good enough.
Two fierce rivals who came into this. Away, appears for handball as Bryson sneaks through. He's smuggled it into the back of the net. 5 minutes on the clock, and Derby have the lead through Bryson. Here's Martin being taken. Beautifully worked. What a fantastic goal that is from Derby. Bamford's got the ball away. It's been done really well. Chance for a third here. There we go.
And not surprisingly, Billy Davies has changed things here with news of that. Andy Hinchcliffe and once again Bill Leslie.
Darius Henderson is the man you see in your picture. He's been called on to replace Guy Musi, who's been taken out of the midfield. An early finish to what was the 150th Forest appearance for Guy Musi. And Darius Henderson charged with helping Forest turn this around. Well, coming into this 7 games without a win, concerning times anyway for Nottingham Forest already. Easily the worst winless run since the second coming of Billy Davies. Barring some sort of second half miracle, that is going to turn into 8. And results later on. So it's pinged wide from distance from Patrick Bamford. Results later on could see them slip out of the top 6.
It's an understandable change from Billy Davies. They're chasing the game. They've sent on a centre forward in Henderson, so it's a front two, Henderson and Cox, but that does leave extra space in central midfield, and Derby have dominated in there with the goals from Bryson and Hendrick, so Forest have to take a chance. They are doing that. They desperately need the next goal in the game to give themselves any chance of clawing this game back.
Thing about Forest recent form has been the way they have been losing games. This is the 3rd time in 6 games that they've conceded 3 goals or more. 3 shipped against Burnley, 4 shipped against Wigan, and now 3 against Derby. All sides who are competing at the top end of the Sky Bet Championship. And the Forest are to get back into this. They need to do what Derby rather did to them in the first half, and that's get an early goal.
Yeah, managers always look beyond just the scoreline to the manner, the way they get beaten, or the manner in which they concede goals, and that's what will annoy Billy Davies so much. They're giving away very, very cheap goals.
As Fawaz Al-Hazawi, who in the week was giving interviews to the local media in Nottingham, saying how he is very much backing Billy Davies. And there is still the possibility to bring in loan players until this Thursday to try and cover for all the injuries they do have. And suffice to say, things are not going according to plan at the moment as far as Forest are concerned.
Forest are under severe pressure with Reading and Brighton breathing down their necks. It's going to be very tight. That final playoff place, in Forest, if they did want to lose this game, they have to do something to change the course of the final few games of the season.
Forest 57 points in 6. Reading 1 point behind them, as are Brighton. Brighton have a game in hand. There'll be 2 after this as well. Here's Mackie. And Mackie is the one who's been penalised.
There's nothing much really gone Jamie Mackie's way this afternoon. He works tirelessly for the team. Right on, it's connection with the ball. That's why the free kick is given, but he's going to have to continue to work, Jamie, and hope that the second half turns around for his team.
Collins. This is Fox. Greening. Nice and stumping as he had to try and keep it in. Bryson looking to become the first player for Derby to get a hat-trick in this fixture since 1898. Steve Bloomer, the current holder of that title. And there he is. A statue of Steve Bloomer alongside the dugouts here at the iPro Stadium. 5-0 was the scoreline in Derby's favour. It's never been as big since then. Rule it out the way it went in the first half. Lucas allowed to carry a long way forward. Now Russell. Bryson. Call from Carl Darlow.
But once again, it's so easy for Craig Forsyth just to meander forward from left back. There's no pressure on him at all. He's in red shirts, just standing up, letting him break to the edge of the penalty area. Saw that in the first half. It's not good enough.
Forest 3 points from 18 coming into this, and the whole of the Sky Bet Championship. Only Leeds in worse form than them over that time. It's not the time of year to start losing form in that devastating style. Here's Henderson from Mackie. Thorne goes in. He's hurt himself in that challenge as well. The referee didn't see anything wrong with it. Thorne still down. Russell closing down. It will be Derby's throw, but of more immediate concern. George Thorne on loan from West Brom. His first Derby County start, his first Derby County appearance. Some all sorts of bother here.
Yeah, Jamie Mackie's first touch was slightly heavy. Ball got away from him. He was chasing it, just follows through slightly, catches George Thorne on the foot. Thankfully, that's not up any high. That's around the midsection around his knee. Could be in serious bother.
Very least, as we can see, it's a painful one. The referee, you saw his position there, he was perfectly positioned to adjudge whether he felt it was getting into the dangerous territory or the reckless territory.
I think the referee's looking for maybe raised studs or a raised boot, looking to go over the top of the ball, and Jamie Mackie doesn't do that. He's had major injury problems himself, of course, Jamie Mackie. You can see he's clearly trying to play the ball there. The referee in a perfect position to judge. There's not much wrong with that.
Derby have already lost one player through injury, a hamstring injury for Jamie Ward in the first half. That's why Johnny Russell is on. Portland's looking rather better for big George Thorne, who is walking okay by the look of things.
He's been really effective, George Thorne. Of course, Craig Bryson and Jeff Hendrick have stole the headlines so far, but it is really about those midfield three combining, playing well together. And certainly now Thorne has been that defensive insurance at times, allowing Bryson and Hendrick to break forward.
And with John Eustace suspended and Will Hughes not fit enough to start, or not risked today, we asked the question right at the start of the match, who would cope best with their key absentees? You look at Nottingham Forest and Andy Reid leads their long list, and they're struggling without too many of their main men. Having said that, they do have one of the best equipped squads in terms of numbers and in terms of depth to deal with it. Also in terms of resources, not many clubs in this division spent as heftily as they did last summer, trying to bring Premier League football back to the City Ground. Martin's got the touch back to Thorne. Martin again, Russell. Martin, now Russell. Russell takes it on! That is absolutely stunning from Johnny Russell. A firecracker into the back of the Forest net, and it's 4 for Derby.
And it's a fantastic 4 for Derby as well. It's the cleanest strike you're going to see. But once again, I'll mention this, there is no pressure on Johnny Russell when he turns and shapes up to shoot here. We saw it with Craig Forsyth breaking forward, no one getting close to him. You allow Johnny Russell the opportunity to shoot from distance. He's clearly got the quality. When the ball breaks his way, no one is looking to close him down, no one's getting close enough. And you're going to pay a heavy price with a player that can shoot like this, because this is stunning. It's patient from Derby, they don't rush, but there's no one in a red shirt, there's enough numbers there. But Yara or Greening, no one's getting close to Johnny Russell, and it's an absolute peach.
His first goal since October. And it puts the seal on one of the great days for Derby County. And we've still got 36 minutes left to play.
I have to say, since we've kicked off in this second half, it's been fairly insipid. Not an awful lot has happened, but what we saw it in the first half. Suddenly Derby burst to life. Forest stand off and then they just cut to ribbons, but what a stunning strike that was. Well, Forest do have to be very, very careful here. This is going from defeat to possible humiliation.
And it's going from delight to delirium at the other end of the spectrum. Well, we talked about the comparatively short but very illustrious list of men who, aside from these two in the dugout today, have managed both clubs. Dave Mackay and Brian Clough, the others who come into that category. The last man to oversee a Derby victory of this magnitude was the great man himself, Brian Clough, in 1972. Billy Davis very much on the wrong end of things today. The sort of defeat that it's hard to bounce back from. Well, in these parts they all talk about return of the Mac, return of the goals today after 6 hours 5 minutes before. Look at that sweet scoreline as far as Derby are concerned. All the sweeter because it's so painful for their great rivals.
I suppose Forest were warned up. Steve McLaren said his team were playing well enough, creating opportunities, just simply not taking them. Created opportunities this afternoon and buried most of them.
Wisdom got his head to it and Russell away. There's a wonderful sense of disbelief about most of this stadium that the fans are really coming to grips with what we're actually seeing here. This does not happen very often.
Well, the Derby fans obviously delighted, and you just wonder what Burnley are possibly thinking. If Derby win this game close to within 7, is it possible Derby can go up automatically?
Header from Lascelles and came off Mackie behind. Nothing quite going Forest's way. The Giant attendance, the biggest of the season so far, for what is always the biggest game here. Slight reorganisation here as well, in that there are Derby County supporters behind both goals. The Forest fans tucked away in the corner. To their credit, you can't see too many empty seats. They're all sticking it out, as painful as it is. Patterson. Could have gone anywhere, including into OG territory off Keogh.
It's not an easy opportunity for Henderson at the near post because there's so much pace on this cross. It's really fired in. It's difficult for a centre forward to adjust his body quickly enough to guide it goalwards, but there was half a chance for the centre forward.
And that's what he's on for, to get himself in those sort of situations. Missed a penalty, you might remember, in Forest's win back in the City ground. The early knockings of the season. Ended up being academic as Forest got the 1-0 win. Anderson looking to return it to Klotz. This is Patterson. Bryson. Hendrick. Bryson on his way back and take it away from Patterson. Up within an hour. Martin falling into the back of Mackie there. So it's a Forest free kick. Davis, who of course in his time in charge here took them out of this division, didn't see out the painful season in the Premier League with them before parting company with the club after relegation. Derby have been down for all the 6 seasons since. Are they going to rise again? And this represents a massive shot in the arm, what's happening here this afternoon for them. Might have that cushion, but still working very hard. Derby hunting in packs. It's floated in by Fox. Henderson's header loose in the box and blasted wide by Simon Cox.
I'm not sure how clean a strike Cox gets on this, or whether it just cannons off him. But because they've got Henderson on the field now for us, they can just knock these long balls into the box and keep the pressure on. And that's all they do here. It's not pretty. The ball actually gets kicked against him. Bryson actually strikes the ball against Cox, and that's why it flies wide.
Drizzle starting to come down over Derby.
I just wonder for Billy Davies, when you get 4-0 down, you naturally think about making changes to try and get back in the game, but I just wonder whether he's thinking now about damage limitation. He sends on strikers to try and possibly get a goal. He could leave his team more open. Derby could enjoy more freedom and possibly go on and get 5 or 6.
Bryson trying to bring Russell into play. Henderson. And that's Greg Halford who's ready to come on. To go back to your previous statement about throwing on strikers or defenders, it's hard to know with Greg Halford because he plays just about everywhere.
You can throw him on as a centre forward, he might have to work hard and get back and do some defending. It's a dual role, I think, for Halford when he comes on.
Precious few passes, positives that Nottingham Forest can take from this one. I suppose the only silver lining to a very hefty and dark cloud is that there are some players on their way back. Kelvin Wilson is back in action, played for the under-21s this week. He's got a bit of game time in, but he's hardly featured since September, so can't be expected to hit the ground running the centre half. Brought in from Celtic in the summer. Well, I would suspect that with the game gone, Jamie Patterson is being kept for battles ahead. He's going to be so key with all those absentees that we've referred to throughout the afternoon.
It looks like Simon Cox is being pushed out to that left-hand side, and it'll be Halford and Henderson to lead the line for Forest. So you expect that Forest are going to play a lot of those long forward balls towards the two big front men.
And stabs it forward. Oh, he's misjudged that, Lascelles. Lascelles with an excellent recovery, and it needed to be as well after a pretty horrific misjudgment.
It was a major mistake, just misjudging the bounce of the ball, but it is about recovery and reaction for defenders when you make mistakes, and this is a good sign from Lascelles. Doesn't feel sorry for himself, gets his head down. It's a really timely tackle. He doesn't slide in here. Johnny Russell could have made it 5.
Bryson. Oh, what a flick that was from Chris Martin. And you have to credit the goalkeeping from Darlow, superbly alert to keep it out.
It's outstanding from the Forest keeper. Great improvisation from Chris Martin. Just pokes it on its way. There's so much pace on the ball in. The keeper does well to keep it out.
Henderson back there, appeals for handball off Greening. The referee didn't feel there was a case to answer. Not away, into the path of Bryson. Greening wanted to dawdle on it, Bamford hunting. Back in by Buxton. Push in the back of Chris Martin, free kick here for Derby, well in range.
Chris Martin really does lead the line brilliantly for Derby. How many times are you going to take knocks? But importantly, he picks up so many free kicks in dangerous areas. That's what happens here. And this is the penalty shout against Jonathan Greening. It's a greasy surface, the ball skips off. And it looks to me, the referee's giving him the benefit of the doubt. Does it come off his chest more than his arm? Well, I'll tell you what, it's debatable. It does strike his arm. It's difficult with a greasy surface like this.
And it's exactly those qualities to the surface, and I'm sure Mike Bryson or Johnny Russell will look to bring into play here. Bouncing in front of the goalkeeper, perhaps. And Bryson If he strikes, could find his way into history, and very nearly did. Inches away from an historic hat-trick.
I'm not sure how close this is, but Carl Darlow feels he has to do some sort of dive towards this. Good thing for the keeper's point of view is he doesn't move to his right first. If he does, and this is on target, he has a problem. Possibly not enough bend on it, sets it off too far wide, really, tries to get it to move back in towards that far post.
Greening.
Clearly see why Derby are so comfortable in the game. Plenty of attempts, plenty on target as well, and with the type of finishers they've got out on the field, Derby, you can see why they've scored 4.
Sliding in, he's not happy with the contribution from Hara behind him. Thorne dropped in for the run of Bamford. Oh, and out comes Darlow. That's going to be a penalty. Bamford heading away from goal, so it will probably be nothing more.
Well, once again, this opportunity comes, some great movement off the ball. Patrick Bamford coming in off that right-hand side. Wonderfully weighted ball from George Thorne. First touch isn't great. And Carl Darlow is saying that he got a bit of the ball. He's nowhere near it. It's clearly a penalty. The referee in a great position. And once Darlow comes off his line, he's got to get a hand on the ball, and he's nowhere near it.
You have to wind back the clock. 2 centuries, 1898, the last time Derby beat Forest 5-0. There was a man who got a hat-trick that day, and Bryson is the man who has the hat-trick this. The stuff that memories and legends are made of. Derby County 5, Nottingham Forest 0, and Craig Bryson joined Steve Bloomer in the history books of this fixture.
Well, Craig Bryson becomes an instant Derby legend. Never really looked like missing, did he? Wasn't the greatest of penalties. Straight down the middle, hoping the keeper would move. Carl Darlow dives, and Craig Bryson takes all the glory. What an astonishing performance this has been. And cool as you like, there's only going to be one player taking this penalty, and he gets a little bit lucky. This goes under the ankles of Carl Darlow. And the way Craig Bryson has played today, he thoroughly deserves this hat-trick.
And even the great Brian Clough couldn't manage a winning margin for Derby against Forest in this fixture at 5. His best was 4. This is an I was there day for Derby County and their fans, and I wish I wasn't day for Nottingham Forest. "20 minutes to go still. Derby showing that they're in the mood to really rub it in. It's just outside the box, that foul on Patrick Bamford.
Oh, it's bad already for Forest, but with 20 minutes left to play, you just wonder how much more punishment they're going to take here. Pure frustration again. Bamford is a big lad, but I tell you what, he's really well balanced, and he frustrates defenders, and that's why they give away so many free kicks against him.
We want 6, the cry for the Derby County fans. You know what, they might just get it as well. If not here, but soon. Heading over. It doesn't look like a manager who's 5-0 up, rewriting Derby County history. Not on the outside anyway.
He's bound to be pleased. Since he's joined the club, it's all about pass and move football, and so many of the goals we've seen this afternoon are simply about that keeping possession while players having the desire to run and make angles and be determined to get into attacking positions. We've seen it with Bryson, we've seen it with Bamford. Hendrick, absolutely outstanding forward play.
Billy Davies staring down the barrel of his biggest defeat as Forest manager in his 2 spells in charge. Well, this is now the concern for Nottingham Forest. They're already missing all those players through injury. They don't want to be picking up suspensions. It's a yellow card, I would think, for Danny Fox there for that one.
It's his second challenge in maybe a couple of minutes on Patrick Bamford. You see Bamford sees him coming, just leans into him, and Danny Fox, you're not going to be able to win the ball without going through the Derby player, and you're obviously going to get booked. But again, pure frustration.
Greening just getting his body in the way in time. Simon Cox back now having to do some defending. Of the low for Nottingham Forest and Billy Davies, and Fawaz Al-Hassawi, the weather probably mirroring his mood as well. Full side. Barlow spilling it, but no one was there to make him pay for that. Henderson. Well, you might have been with us when we were here to see Derby come from behind against Linces. It was then Blackpool. Get 5 goals. Chris Martin got a hat-trick, a couple of penalties in that game. Today it's Bryson with the hat-trick. And as yet, the clean sheet is intact. It would represent Steve McLaren's best win in charge here. Still a quarter of an hour to play. Back to when the scorelines were 0-0 right at the start of this match. We always felt that the first goal was going to be important because of the brittle nature of the confidence between these two. Derby got it. A little bit of a break as Bryson managed to find a way through for his first of his hat-trick. Ever since then, Forest haven't really looked anything but troubled in front of their own goal. And that pattern continues as Bamford gets his head up. It goes for a bit of individual glory when perhaps there were some better team options in play.
Yeah, a touch of naivety, but it's because of this 5-0 scoreline that especially Patrick Bamford can try things from distance. He's a long way off target there, just wasn't balanced right when he struck it.
Well, it would suit Derby's automatic promotion prospects pretty well if these two would take points off each other, perhaps. Burnley against Leicester is our live Sky Bet Championship action next Saturday, midday, Sky Sports 1. More immediate concern from the Barclays Premier League Saturday night football. From East London, West Ham against Manchester United from 5.
I just wonder if Sean Dyche is watching on this afternoon, whether he might be getting a touch nervous. Burnley are going to be without Danny Ings for a few weeks. We've seen strange things happen in football, certainly in the Championship. Things can turn around. At the moment, Burnley look home and hose for getting automatically promoted, but in this type of form, you can't rule Derby out.
Take Derby on to 66, 7 points behind Burnley, who are in action later today. Derbyshire, who is another of the Steve McLaren signings, still playing his football at the City Ground, comes on to replace Simon Cox.
Of course, every footballer wants to get out there and play, but I think for Matt Derbyshire, playing 12 minutes in a big derby when you're 5-0 down is not ideal.
Forsyth, Lascelles. Pressurised by Russell. Hara.
Well, that's been a big difference for me. Of course, the scoreline's emphatic, but the way that Derby work, they don't have the ball, close those red shirts down. We've not seen that from Forest. We saw that with Johnny Russell's goal, the one that really settled the contest. If you don't close down in games like this, you're going to be punished. And Derby have been much better at doing that.
Bryson. He's going to go for another here.
Well, when you have good days, you've got to pretty much shoot from absolutely everywhere. And it's been one of those days for Craig Bryson. This could easily just have squirmed under the body of Carl Darlow.
Anderson's push was picked up by the referee.
Whether it was just a push. Richard Keogh not happy. And Henderson is a big physical centre forward. Is it an elbow? Well, it certainly is clear that left elbow connects with Richard Keogh. I'm not sure how much intent there was there, but that's really dangerous.
You can see why Richard Keogh's not happy. Intent or no intent, it was an elbow moving towards his jaw at some pace.
It's one of those as a centre-half, you've only got eyes for the ball. You don't expect a centre-forward to swing an elbow like that, and that's when you can be seriously injured.
And another day, another referee might have seen it differently. Bamford. Bryson. Well, as good as his one was earlier on, that's a moment not to remember for quite the same reasons, and I think one that may be replayed a few times.
So yeah, every footballer has done this. I've certainly done this. It's one of those going across your body, just takes a touch on your standing foot. Absolutely brilliant. Big smile. He's got a lot to smile about.
Chris Martin's race has run. He's actually been joined as joint league top scorer by Craig Bryson, courtesy of that hat-trick today, but he really played a part, laying on Bryson's second, didn't he, and leading the line fantastically well.
I'm just about to say that as a centre forward he couldn't do much more. Of course he's out there to score goals. If you can't do that, you've really got to play that lone striker role unselfishly, and Chris Martin outstanding this afternoon.
Nudge in the back of Halford, free kick Nottingham Forest. Credit to the Nottingham Forest fans. This has got to be so painful. Most of them still here inside the stadium that were here at kickoff. Fox scoops it in. Horn gets it out. Well, you look at what's to come. The 4 home games: Charlton, Huddersfield, Barnsley and Watford. We go to Ipswich, Steve McLaren's former club, Middlesbrough, Blackpool, Doncaster, and finish off on the final day of the season at Leeds United. Where will those fixtures, those potential 27 points, take them?
At the iPro today, looked at the league table and saw maybe what, 10 points behind Burnley. I think there's no real chance of them catching Burnley, but I tell you, on this form and the games they've got to play, Derby do have a real opportunity of pushing Burnley all the way.
Wisdom. Bryson caught late by Lascelles. It'll be a yellow card for the young Forest defender.
Yeah, I think the referee wanted to possibly play an advantage, but the tackle was a bit more severe than probably the referee expected. He thought they had to go back and book him.
Derby County change. And a little run out for Will Hughes, and this is really so Craig Bryson can milk the applause. Hat-trick hero of the highest order.
Well, he has been absolutely stunning all season, certainly in the course of this game. A perfect example of how to play as an on-rushing midfielder. You've got the security of a couple of midfielders behind you, you can break forward. It's all about taking your chances and finishing well, and boy has he done that.
I'm not sure there'll be a bust of Craig Bryson alongside that of Steve Bloomer by the dugouts there, but it's a feat that in the history of this football club not many have achieved.
Well, surely Craig Bryson will be in the artist studio on Monday, getting his image immortalised, surely in bronze. Surely he's got to be down there, hasn't he?
Fudge from Thorne. No harm done. Good run this from Jeff Hendrick. Just fouled outside the penalty area by Majewski. Connor Salmon wings it back. O'Hara. Russell. Hughes. The Football League's Young Player of the Year in with the challenge. And Jamie Mackey, and there was one that just stepped over the line of the law. Free kick, Forest. Well, there's the statue of Steve Bloomer, the man who got the hat-trick in 1898 in that 5-0 win. And there's the 2014 version, Craig Bryson. Danny Fox standing over this Forest free kick. Getting good action on the ball as well. Lascelles could only guide it over though.
It's an excellent ball in from Danny Fox, delivers it into exactly the right area. Lascelles is just on the stretch. He can't really get over this ball and head it down. That's what he needs to do. Jumps slightly too early. Skins off the top of his head.
Almost Hinchcliffian in its delivery.
Really? Thank you. I'll take that. I thought you'd forgotten after so many years.
I saw the beat to Max. On the flip side, you talk about what Forest have got coming up, some really tricky away trips. Ipswich, Queen's Park, Rangers, Leeds and Bournemouth is their final away game at home. Charlton, Millwall, Sheffield Wednesday, Birmingham and Brighton. And they're sort of in the form that Billy Davis and Nottingham Forest are. Every game's a challenge.
You talked about the resources that Forest have. They do have a fairly bulky squad, a quality squad as well, but their confidence going into this game was fragile. And after this, it's been completely smashed.
Obliterated, humiliated at the hands of closest rivals. In the 90th minute. And make up the scantest of consolations. At this time, here's Bamford. Confirmation of 3 added minutes. Steve McLaren always beating the message that the derby occasion is for the fans. The match is what's important for the players, and that's what they needed to concentrate on. In terms of the match, how good have Derby been today, and how, on the flip side, below themselves have Forest been?
I thought Forest have been very, very poor defensively. They just haven't done enough. They've been outfought and outthought, but from Derby's perspective, I still feel they're probably at 75% capacity. A lot more to come from them, and that's worrying for Burnley and maybe some of the other sides in the playoffs, because if Derby do go into the playoffs in this type of form, they're going to be a threat to most.
Well, no offside flag went up there against Matt Derbyshire, but he couldn't get it on target.
It's not an easy one when the ball is coming over your shoulder and going away from you. Certainly onside. It's not easy to control this chance. You really want to try and take it down and get a shot away, but the angle's against him. Tries it first time, and it's not an easy finish.
conceded 3 to Burnley, 4 to Wigan, now 5 to Derby, Nottingham Forest. All that in the space of the last 6 games. Testing times, to say the least, for Billy Davison for Nottingham Forest. Henderson came off Kia. The shot wide from Radoslav Milevski. Days like this, if you support Derby County, just do not come around very often. Craig Bryson's hat-trick has guided Derby to the very best of wins against Nottingham Forest. 112 years, the one and only time they managed to win.